So you're an anime fan and you just so happen to be on your social medias. Maybe you were on the Twitters or X over the past weekend. And as you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, you come across a particular tweet, possibly on your timeline, that just has one of the most insane titles you have seen in quite some time. I mean, literally, of a brand new anime that's going to be airing in later this October called If My Wife Became an Elementary School Student. And the first thing you do is not check for context, but you tweet your displeasure because you already know or you believe that some fuckery is upon us. And quite frankly, if you watch a whole lot of anime, well, you technically would not be wrong. I really can't fault anybody for being angry once they saw this anime make its ways throughout the social media because of the title. Like, just thinking about the title alone, it's actually insane when it's translated from Japanese to English. And, you know, the creator obviously knew that going in. Like, there's just no other way. But if I were to tell you that this is actually not the first medium that this manga was adapted into, you probably would be surprised. You see, not only was this anime a actual Japanese live action drama beforehand, it was actually highly rated. No, this isn't one of those shows or medias that's gonna land you on the FBI watch list. Now, for full context behind the series, a lot of people automatically are going to assume the worst. Hell, I assume the worst, and it's because sometimes you just don't know. But as we dive a little bit deeper into this series, it's the actual plot that's insane, because the actual plot is pretty depressing. Now, if you made it this far into the video, that means you must be okay with spoilers. And full disclosure, this series is not one of an inappropriate relationship between an adult male and a child. That's not what the premise of the plot is all about. It's actually a little bit more sadder than that, because Keisuke, the main character, lost his wife Take 10 years prior. And since then, the only thing that Keisuke really has is their shared daughter named Mai. But Mai and Keisuke have been practically living like strangers in this household for the last 10 years since, of course, Take died. Catapult 10 years later on, a girl shows up at Keisuke's house in the form of an elementary school student and says that she is the reincarnation of Keisuke's wife, Take. Now, I know this doesn't put to bed any of the worries that people have about this series, but what I can tell those people out there who are just wondering, Take, who is now this elementary school girl, her job has basically been to guide both Keisuke and Mai through the grief of losing her. Technically, her when she was alive 10 years prior. The series truly boils down to Take trying to help Keisuke as much as possible move on with his life, including trying to see other women his age. Emphasis on his age, because once again, he is an adult male. At the same time, Take is also trying to guide her daughter, Mai, about moving on without having a mother. And that's going to be pretty tough for any household to deal with. Now, I did mention that this series was adapted into a Japanese drama beforehand, and that got high ratings. But I would be amiss if I didn't tell people that there was going to be no crude jokes in this entire series, especially when it comes to Keisuke and him telling other people that this child is his wife.
Huh?
You see, that's mainly what people are going to latch onto. It's the distasteful, discolorful jokes, the grim jokes, especially because it's not really a laughing matter, but they try to make it comedic. Like, this is not a black comedy where they're going to make light of, you know, several different tough situations. Those are just off-brand jokes in quotation marks that often gets made, especially when you have Take, who is the middle school or elementary school student that is always telling Keisuke to stop saying that because you sound like a whole ass weirdo saying that in public. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen a lot of anime and a lot of Japanese dramas and K-dramas. This one here definitely took the cake, and it's crazy because when I first saw anything related to this series, it was in the Japanese drama form. However, it was using the Japanese name, and even the English translation around that time wasn't as crazy as it is right now. But mind you, this drama did come out 2 years ago, and I understand the audience that this did appear to, especially how it was helping a lot of people like grief. You know, a lot of people were feeling connected to the overall plot or the story that they were trying to tell. However, anime is a much bigger medium than Japanese dramas. Now, if this was a K-drama, I would have believed it would have been as massive and the response would have been as harsh as it's been right now. And even so, I do believe that the choice to make a lot of these, these colorful jokes is not gonna fly at all with a lot of people, especially, on Twitter. And I feel that even with the premise of the series, that people are still going to be up in arms because the title is just so outlandish. Like, you could have chose any other title for the series, but this is the one that's going to get people talking about the series as well. We live in an age where we're getting paragraphs for the titles of anime, and I just find it funny that this is the one that was decided for the name of a manga, and they just ran with it. They ran with it in the live action adaptation. They're going to run with it with the anime when it officially drops. Crunchyroll, of course, is the one that's licensing the anime, and they already know that this is the perfect marketing scheme to basically get people to check this series out or just to talk about it regardless. There's going to be a lot of people who are, going to be in their journalistic bag that's going to be covering this anime in the future to see exactly how wholesome or depressing or weird this series is going to be. But at the end of the day, they just achieved their goals of marketing. So let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think about the official title of the series? Did you even look for context? Did you dismiss it absolutely from the beginning? Are you even going to watch this series? These are very valid questions and very valid comments I would like to know. And with that said, I'll catch you guys for the next video. You already know. Doses.